Hello friends, welcome to Squared Plans. I'm Stephanie and today we're going to be setting up our faith planners for the month of September. And I've got these washi tapes here ready to go, as well as this rub-on transfer sheet that I got from the Dollar Tree, this fancy floral sticker sheet that I got from Liz, and these sticker books which I'll pull from. Okay, let's go ahead and jump in. I was going to get started with the monthly layout, but I really don't have a plan yet for this spread, so I'm going to go ahead and just start off with the opening spreads, do what I normally do in these videos where I kind of figure out what I want to do in that upper left corner where it says this week, all across the spread for the 4 or 5 weeks I'll be doing this. I'll lay those all out and then go on to the monthly spread this time, doing it a little bit backwards from my norm. The main reason is because I haven't used rub-on transfers like this in a while. I've only done it once before, back in October of last year, and I just want to kind of feel it out and see how I'm going to make this work and how the things are going to go together. So we're just going to start here with the inside spreads, I guess is the way I would say it, the weekly spreads, and then go back to the monthly and figure that out at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by kind of cutting out some of the main elements in this rub-on transfer sheet. Basically, these are just backed up with some sticky paper and then like a background so that it doesn't stick down just anywhere. I'm taking that and just kind of cutting it up. That way I can move it around on the wax paper and just kind of get a feel for where it might lay out. And then I can add in some stickers as well and just kind of build out little designs on each. So right now I'm cutting up some of the big sections into smaller sections just so I can kind of piece them together like a puzzle. And like I said, all of these will be in that upper left-hand corner on all of the spreads, but I'm just going to use this one spread to kind of visualize how it might look on the 5 spreads that I have for the month. So I'll just start laying things out and moving things around. This makes it a little bit easier to keep track of where everything is and how much I have of what and how they'll look from week to week as well, and that way they won't look too similar each week. Try to keep it a little bit different and something fresh to look at as I turn the spread. You may have noticed that this video is quite a bit longer than my norm. I think it just took me a while to figure out how to play with these rub-on transfers and just kind of figure out how to lay them out, and then actually putting them down takes a little bit more time than stickers, which you'll see a little bit later in the video. So a little bit longer video, but if you want to know how to use these guys in your spread, it's a good one. It definitely goes through all of the steps you can take to use any kind of rub-on transfer. But these ones were especially cheap at the dollar store, so can't pass up a good deal, especially when the design is pretty awesome, I thought, for dollar store products. Definitely have that French kind of romantic feel to it, and I really like how it looked. I think what I'm going to do from the Faith sticker book, which you can kind of see me pulling in some of those stickers now, is bring in some yellow and some pink. I feel like there's some deeper pinks kind of already built into the spread, and I just thought that yellow would be a nice complementary color to the warmer tones in the rub-on transfers. So that's what I'm going to stick with and pull only from that, as well as some gold. I really wanted to pull in these fancy floral stickers that I got here. And like I said, I only have this one sheet. Liz was so gracious to send me a bunch of decor stickers from her stash that she didn't plan on using. So this one in particular is the only book I really didn't have already in my stash to show. I just thought it was a really good compliment for this style of design as far as this like French romantic. Really, I think plays well with the stickers there on the sheet. I'm also going back into that Faith mini sticker book. This is an older sticker book, but it has a lot of nice gold tones in it and some occasional pastels that I already have pulled in. Like I said, those hexagons already pulled in there. I did think I was going to pull in a few of these kind of circle stickers, especially in the yellow, but then when I looked at it again, the yellow just felt a little bit too bold in comparison to the feels. So I'll lay those down now, but later on I decided to pull those up because they just kind of stick out to me when I looked at it on the spread, and I was like, no, it's too much. So I didn't get to use those, but I did find places for some other like gold oriented stickers that I had there as circle stickers, and we will go from there. Like I said, this is not a very faith-centric design. A lot of times I like to do, you know, more faith-focused designs. This one's it's going to be more sprinkled around, but I do use these spreads to write in the verse of the day every day. Each spread is going to be filled with scripture, so I feel like it's okay to have a little bit less faith focus on the decor, since that's really the main focus of the spread is scripture. So we're going to work with that. And you can kind of see how I'm building out the designs for each of those boxes now. It gives you the feel of how full and like diverse the items will be on the spread. Also trying to see if I need to pull in some more stickers from the botanical sticker book that I pulled. I have a few still left over there in some black and white floral stickers that I thought I might use. We'll see. I might save those for the monthly, not 100% sure. And okay, I think I'm ready to go ahead and start tackling this and try to move stuff over onto the spread now. I'm going to try to keep it in the order that I've designed it. So the very first spread I'm going to start off with, and each spread in continuum going across the wax paper there. So it's a little bit trickier than I initially thought it would be to work with both stickers and the rub-ons together. You kind of have to be strategic about when you place things down, and if you want something to be overlapped, you just need to have it there before you actually lay over the rub-on transfer, or vice versa. So here's the first attempt at the rub-on, and I'm just using my tweezers, the back of them. It's got kind of like a rounded edge, which is pretty good for rubbing against the transfer and separating it from the sheet. So I went ahead and did that, and that one came off really smoothly. As I go, you'll see I really didn't have too many issues, except for if there was a really fine line. Sometimes those ones didn't transfer over 100%, but for the most part it did. It was a pretty easy process, and I didn't really have any problems with them once they were laid down. In the past, I did one that had a pretty thick lettering. I was worried that the thickness of the lettering would still be too sticky, so I kept kind of noticing at first that it would stick to the second part of the page. But it didn't stick to the page, it just kind of made like the sound like it was going to stick, but as I opened the page up, it was fine. So that was with the thicker transfer. So these thinner ones I haven't had any problems with now, even after the fact that I'm done and I'm voicing this now. I guess it really just depends on the transfer itself, but I haven't had any issues with these dollar store transfers coming off the page or picking up. They've been really good and just kind of a new versatile thing to use in your spreads. So I've already moved on to the second spread, and I've laid down the sticker because I wanted that kind of postal wave to lay over the sticker a bit. So that's what I mean by you kind of have to be strategic about how you're laying down your stickers as opposed to the rub-on transfers. Again, another one that I wanted to make sure was kind of layered in there. And sometimes, like I said, if you don't rub enough, sometimes it gets a little sticky, but that worked out pretty well in the end. Go back over it if you feel like it's not coming up enough. And like I said, the rub-on transfer process does take a bit more time, so you just got to be mindful of that. I think in the end though, it's definitely worth it, especially if you're going to do any layering of stickers. It really makes a difference when you're layering the rub-on transfers. There's no overlap of clear sticker or white paper sticker. Very clean look, and I like that about those transfers. So this spread has a very collagey feel. Really like how it turns out in the end. Definitely kind of transports you to that French romantic feel. I will say though, I cut up a lot of these text boxes, which some of them are all grouped together, but a lot of them I just kind of cut up, and it gets really bad near the end when I'm in the monthly layout. I like cut sentences in half and what have you. So if you speak French and this is proper French, I'm sorry, I just made up sentences as I went that fit my decor needs because I have no idea what these sentences or paragraphs are saying, so please forgive me for that. But if you know French, you know, maybe you can be a little bit more strategic with your decor layout. Just kind of pulled an audible on this guy and decided to make that large quote go in a diagonal, so I'd have a little bit more space to kind of nestle in some stickers here at the bottom, trying to fill up the gaps. I am trying to mix in a little bit of yellow and a little bit of pink where I can on each spread in each little corner so that everything feels uniform when I lay it down and all the colors and things all match together. The yellow that I'm pulling in is kind of based off of that Fancy Florals, almost mustard yellow tone that's in the florals on there. I just did my best to match that up with what I had, and I think that really just kind of helps create a color scheme to work off of for the month. So obviously when I pull my Arteza pens for doing my lettering, I'll be pulling pink and yellow toned pens to work with along with the black. And this one was kind of weird. It has some really fine lines that didn't transfer over, even though I rubbed a lot. I think they were just a little bit off center from wherever the sticky part is of the transfer, so it just didn't cut over. One of the quality issues with the dollar store stickers, but it really works with this French romantic feel, I think, just kind of having things faded and not 100% clear. That's very old, historic feeling, and I think that works really well with this theme in particular. And again, this is some really fine print, so I'm going to rub it as well as I can, make sure I get all the corners and all of the little lines as best I can. I think that looks good. Onto the fourth spread. And I changed my mind on that because I realized that both the fourth and the fifth spreads were going to have the same kind of look to them with the font treatment of the paragraph. So I decided to bring this guy in that I was saving for the monthly and then use this day's for the monthly layout so it would look a little different. Because I'm just kind of doing this on the fly, I'm just seeing what I have and making it work with this new piece that I decided to use here. And I created more of a diagonal on that piece. Again, rubbing as best I can to make sure I get all the little pieces off. And then I'll just layer in a few of these other elements I was going to use on the previous design. And try to fill these gaps. Again, trying to pull in some yellow and some pink on each one when I can. And I felt like the edge of this really just needed something else. It was pretty sparse over here. So I'm going to try and layer in these leaves. There was like a round quote around them, but I decided to cut that off and just use the leaves as is. Kind of nestle them here against the edge and fill that space. And that is the round quote that was part of that, but I'll save that for another space. So we are getting there. I think we are close. Got one more to go. Or was that the last one? Let me see. Oh, that was the last one. Well, I was going to change that one out because I felt that the yellow was a little bit too bright compared to the more mustardy yellow in the other stickers, but I decided to keep it. And I'm just going to do a little bit of maneuvering here on this guy. Let's see if I can fill up a couple of the gaps that I see here. And I got lucky on that, because usually once they touch the paper they stick down, but it was just floating above, so I was able to move it into place. And just again, just trying to fill in gaps, find happy homes for things. And I like that better. Let's see if I can find one more item here for this corner. Again, in the Faith mini sticker book. And just so you know, I only really use the Faith mini sticker book and the Fancy Florals sticker sheet. I didn't use any of the other books that I pulled. So you can do this with a limited amount of stickers, but it was important to have that fancy florals, I think, to pull things together in some areas. So now that I have all of the spreads kind of worked out, I decided that I wanted to bring in some of this washi tape I pulled. Again, more for emphasizing the color scheme a bit, since there's a lot of black in the rub-on transfers. And so I pulled like this marbled pink washi that I got from a Planny Thing box. And then I have this yellow kind of striped washi that was from a Joann's pastel set. And then finally I have a gold travel themed washi tape that I got from Joann's as well in a set from, I think it's the Miss Sparkle and Company line. I really do like adding in that little extra bit of gold. I think that just kind of elevates the look of the spread a little bit, creates some visual interest and just kind of a, I don't know, like I said, more of that romantic feel. And then the other two colors just re-emphasizing the tonal look and feel for each spread. So I'm going to go ahead and layer some of that washi down here on Sunday for each of the spreads and just kind of vary how I do it each week, but using those same 3 washis. And then I'm putting one little tidbit of washi in the corner, kind of more for balance, but also for a little pop of color in the corner where I see it needs it. So the ones with the big hexagons in the corner, I am using the gold washi tape since there's already a big thing of color there in the corner. I don't think it needs it as much. And then if there's not a real strong color element on the spread, then I'll use either the pink or the yellow just to tie in more of that color on the spread. And just need to straighten this guy out. And this one kind of needs a little bit more yellow since there's a little bit more pink there on the edge. And I'm just switching up how I'm layering the washi too each time. I thought I would nestle this gold one underneath, but I think I'm just going to layer it on top and call it a day because I don't really want to try to pick it up and reposition it. I did try though. And like I said, those ones with the hexagons, I kind of just stuck with that gold washi tape as a little added bonus there in the corner. I don't like to take up writing space too much here on the weeklies, but I think one day a week is not a big deal in sacrifice for better decor and design. So we're moving on to the monthly spread, and I'm going to start off just by whiting out the lines in between the empty days so I have a nice clean palette to work with. I use my Sakura White Jelly Roll pen for that. You'll find that in the description under my favorite things if this is your first video. And even if it's not, pretty much anything that I use in the video can be found in the description and links to it if I have it. I might not be able to find these rub-on transfers since they are from the dollar store, but if I can, I'll include those. But anything that's, easy to find online and I can find a link for, I will include. So just trying to figure out now how I want these leftover transfers to look in these corners and how I want to just kind of lay everything out. Like I said, there are a lot of these sentences that I cut up and rearrange just so it looks better on the spread. So it does take me a minute to do that. And again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the French language by doing this. My apologies. I just was more worried about aesthetics since I can't read the French anyway. So please forgive me for that if you are able to read it and you're like, that is so wrong. So So I'm going to pull in some of the washi here on the spread as well, again, just for repetition and to kind of unify the spread as a whole across all of the spreads for the month. So I am laying some of those in, but I cut it in half just so that I would have room to write in on each day whatever I'm going to do for the month. At this point, I'm still waffling and figuring out what I want to use the monthly for. I did not pull a scripture study this month. I had an idea to do a give it to God theme, which is, because when I'm really stressed, sometimes I just hold on to things. So a way to just kind of alleviate and write something down that's, maybe on my mind or creating anxiety, and then kind of as a way to purge it or let it go. I did that once before last year, another stressful month, and that was very helpful. So I might do that. I might do something else too. I was just kind of thinking I could still do a gratitude, something less structured, basically. So at this point, I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. And I do, like I said, still need room to write. So I'm trying to be mindful that I'm not taking up too much space. But that's why I cut down the washi. So I think that works. Got a nice balance there. I have all of the colors represented in the washi, and I have it placed around in threes, which I talk about more recently. I love washi, but I struggle with it. I have found that if I just stick with 3 placements of washi, it always tends to look better, kind of keeping that triangular formation of it. Sometimes 5 if washi is supposed to be the star of the show, but 3 tends to look the best. If I try to add too many clusters and not well balanced on the spread, I'm never happy with it. Just a tip, if you also struggle with washi, stick with 3, stick with that triangular relationship between where you're placing it on your spread, and you should be good to go. I am trimming off the edges of some of the washi that butt up against the day as I'm laying things down, just trying to make it look cleaner. And I'm using my precision cutter in some instances like here, which is from Slice. It's a great little tool for cutting stickers right on the spread, especially if you have trouble with using like an X-Acto knife. Those tend to cut through the paper if you're too heavy-handed, and you just got to be more careful. So I really like that precision cutter. It's got such a fine tip, and it almost never goes through the paper all the way, but it cuts through stickers really great, and it has like pen-like control. So I just want to put a shout out for that because it's one of my favorite things for sure. I use it pretty much in every spread and really love it. So I've laid in a few of the rub-on transfers now down in the corner, and I'm just seeing if I have something else to fill that last little hole that is there on the edge on Friday. So let's see if I can find something that I feel like will work. And I settled on these gold hearts to bring in some of the foiling. Again, that was in my Faith mini sticker book. And here is where I do some sentence surgery here because I really wanted the quote to be longer and across the box more. So I start to really cut this boy up, and again, apologize if I am butchering the actual language there. I go ahead and start laying things in that I can rub on so I can get the right placement for the words themselves. And mainly, I'm trying to make it so that it flows like a paragraph. Some of the lines have capital letters, so I didn't want it to be too uniform with capital letters starting each line. And I just wanted it to kind of flow how I envisioned it. So lots of cutting, lots of kind of maneuvering of text to make it look how I wanted it to. And I wanted to pull in this love banner, but I decided that I'm going to use it here on the sidebar, where I'm going to write in what I finally decide to do for the monthly activity I'm going to be doing here on the monthly spread. And I decided to pull in another quote from the Fancy Floral sticker sheet. And then I'll start working in the text now. Try to get the placement right. Some of these are laying over the sticker, so I just have to be careful to make sure everything is laid out first and then putting the rub-on on top of it. This process definitely isn't for the faint of heart, especially if you like to change your sticker placement once you've already laid it down on the sheet. That's why I use the wax paper. If you are also like me, where you kind of like to fiddle with stickers and figure out where exactly you'd like them to be before you commit them to the page, the wax paper is great for that. The rub-on transfers are pretty permanent when they're down, so you can't really move them around. But keeping the backing on them really helps to allow you to get a feel for where you want them on the spread before you commit. And I'm just finishing up my sticker or my rub-on transfer surgery here, complete these paragraph lines. And I really like how it turned out visually. I think that really helped fill the gaps a lot better. And then I thought about layering that over there, but decided that maybe I'll just stick this quote here in the sidebar. Really felt like we needed more of that yellow tone on the spread here, especially in this corner with all the pink. And now I'm just laying in these floral clusters with the leaves, using up what I have left, and creating a little spot where I can put in the subject for the activity of the month. Decided to stick with Give It to God just to make it simple, and I think that right now it's a little bit stressful right now in my life, so it's a good time to do this as a theme for the monthly, just kind of clear my head and keep everything focused in on what's important. So I'm using my Tombow Furunosuke pen, and it's got a nice thin tip, which I think works well with this spread. It kind of gives that fine line look, and I'm just cleaning it up because I did an okay job with the lettering there, but I've done better. Let me drop in a few more of these gold hearts here in the sidebar. And once I finish this out by putting in a few little embellishments of the gold, we will be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye!